Hey guys, welcome to the Up and Down Show with Daniel.
And Upendo. We are back with a brand new episode. Hey, Daniel.
Hi, Upendo. How you doing?
I'm actually good. How are you doing?
Doing very well. You know, it's always interesting. We kind of start with the same greeting every time, but it's because we don't do this on a weekly basis, at least not yet. We're trying to move toward maybe doing a live show one day, Upendo. What do you think about that?
Yes, a live show and also moving to virtual. You know, that is our goal.
That is our goal. But until we get to that, we're actually doing this like every 3 weeks or so. So I haven't seen you in like a month.
I know. I mean, actually, I've seen you, but I haven't seen you in person.
That is true. I've seen you on that virtual screen.
I know.
The perpetual Zoom meetings that we are all part of.
I know.
How over Zoom are you?
Well, I will tell you this. If I don't ever have to do Zoom again, I would be okay. Right. I actually miss being in the room with people.
Amen. I miss being in the room with people. I actually miss letters. I'm going to start communicating with letters. I'm not even emails, just letters and courier pigeons. That's how I'm going to start doing my business.
I know. It just, it brings back the idea that when you're in person, you have a better connection with people. I don't seem to have great connections through Zoom. In fact, my face shows it all, like when I'm bored, when I'm doing other things. So I can do without Zoom.
Yeah, I can do without Zoom today. And actually, it just made me think, wasn't planning on sharing this, but my dear friend, Michelle Soro, who I talk about all the time.
I love you, Michelle. Hey, I cannot wait to meet you.
Michelle has a great online business about how to use products like Zoom more effectively. And she has a class coming up. I saw that, and I'm going to try to catch that show, Michelle. And maybe I'll actually share the resource on our page as well, helping people be more effective and engaging with Zoom. You got to bring your personality to the camera. You can't just stand there the way you are in an in-person meeting. You gotta up it a little bit.
Well, that is true. Well, the positive to Zoom, you don't necessarily have to be dressed from the bottom down.
Kind of like today. I'm wearing sweats today. I was like, you know what? I did some exercise earlier today. I was feeling real comfortable. Okay. Took my time getting here. So I'm wearing sweats today. So there are benefits.
There are benefits. And then when you are truly zoning out, you can actually go to your picture on Zoom instead of being live. It's like, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm going to eat. You can do everything and still be present.
Please go to your picture, your name card when you go to the restroom on Zoom. Did you see the one meme this week with the one woman who walked behind her son?
Yes, that was actually, it was a live Zoom class for school, and his
underage, like maybe kindergarten, first grade at the oldest.
Yes, and the teacher is like, get out of the
Who that naked lady? Who that naked lady there? Terrell, turn off your camera. It was hysterical. But even the funnier thing with that, if you looked at all the little boys in it, every single one of them had an issue. One boy was knocked out. He was sitting there, the teacher was giving a and the other boy was all curled up in his bed in kindergarten class. I swear to God. I mean, just COVID has really messed up our society. Got mama walking naked on the camera.
She forgot that her son was in class. That's basically what happened. She's like, let me just get this, and not realizing she is full on naked in the kindergarten class, okay?
Oh my goodness. So, well, welcome back, Upendo. It's so nice to be here today. And today we're going to talk about some current events.
Current events are things that's actually happening right now that's been talked about.
Yeah, so not current events, but things that are happening now.
Yeah, things that are happening now.
That's not the same thing. Current events are things that are happening now.
Well, things that is present, that's trending. That's another way to say it.
Okay, not current events, but things that are trending. You see this, right? You see how...
Okay, yes. But anyway, I do want to talk about, have you heard about the movie called Cuties?
Yes, I have. And I'm sure you all have heard about it as well. I've heard about it. Not only have I heard about it, but I watched it last night because I knew you were going to bring this show up.
I have to tell you, Cuties actually came out about a month ago on Netflix, but it actually has been on, it was released late last fall in Europe. So it's been out for a while, and it's won some awards in Europe.
And the Sundance, which is in America, is one of the greatest prestigious awards you can get in filmmaking. It won the International Award in Sundance this past January, not too long ago.
Yeah, so it was, the reason why I watched it is that I heard all this buzz about this movie. And the buzz that I was hearing, I thought it was a documentary, number one.
I did too.
Yeah.
When I first heard, I thought, oh my gosh, they're actually profiling these young ladies and sort of the over-sexualization of young girls.
Yes, that's exactly what it's about. It's a movie about the sexualization of young girls. And I thought it was a documentary, but it actually is a movie. But here's why it's trending this week. The grand jury in Tyler County, Texas. So to our Texas fans.
Of course, Texas. Although my mom lives in Texas now, so I'm kind of a Texas family. That's so weird. But still, damn, Texas.
Yes.
So in Texas, what's going on in Texas?
They accused Netflix of promoting lewd visual material depicting child pornography.
Oh my. Okay. All right.
With this movie. And so they are actually trying to indict Netflix. And from what I understand, with all of the groups that are trying to deal with human trafficking, sexual exploitation of kids, they're all saying that this actually has some legs.
Really? That they actually might be able to have some sort of penalties towards
Yes.
Netflix. Because also what was trending a few weeks ago was cancel Netflix. We've done a show on the whole cancel culture, right? And so yeah, this show has absolutely hit that button in America that seems to get hit like every 5 years or so. Maybe not even that often. Maybe every 10 years, like with a movie that just gets under the fiber of our very provincial American culture, right? Where sex is something that is, first of all, so taboo in this country.
Yes. And so again, when I watched the movie, I immediately thought it was a documentary, and I was blown away because I actually called you and I was like, oh my goodness, this was actually a very good movie. And I watched it with the lens of looking for sexual exploitation.
Yeah.
I didn't see any. I saw that it was a movie really sharing what can happen when we talk about sexual exploitation. And my question to you.
Okay. Yes.
See, I have questions for you today.
Right. All right. I have answers. Let's go.
How different is this movie from Taxi Driver?
It's not. I wasn't sure if you were going to make that reference. Yes, Taxi Driver is absolutely. I think that was Jodie Foster.
That was Jodie Foster. She was playing a 12-year-old prostitute.
Yes.
And it was some sexual exploitation. It could be considered sexual exploitation.
And she had a very tight top in the early 70s, very revealing wardrobe outfit. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't think it's much different. I think the one. Okay, go ahead.
I have another question.
All right.
How different is it from Pretty Baby?
It's not. Now, Pretty Baby, I actually think is more risque and controversial, and still, actually not a great movie. I was going to say a great movie. Have you seen Pretty Baby?
I haven't seen Pretty Baby.
It's an interesting movie. It's an interesting time step because that's a movie from the 80s.
No, that's from the 70s.
Was it late 70s?
Late 70s, and it's about Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields is in that movie, and it's a 12-year-old.
Yes.
Prostitute in New Orleans.
Absolutely. And she was 12 years old.
Yes, in that movie.
And I know for these girls in Cuties, they were older.
No.
Well, yeah, the main girl was 14 when she filmed the movie.
When she filmed, but they're playing
11 years. Yeah. But I'm thinking like the whole actress.
Yes. I see.
So an older actress playing a younger actress.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But Brooke Shields was actually 12 years old in this movie when she filmed it.
Which is a good clarification because in the movie Cuties, they're actually preteen. The focus is preteen pubescent girls. And like you're saying, the actresses that played in the movies, they're actually older, but played younger type.
Yeah, so, they're still 14. And I have nieces. That's the thing for me is like, it just kept bringing me back to my nieces. And so if you have another question, go for it.
I do. So how different is this movie from Blue Lagoon?
This movie is more risque than Blue Lagoon, if you ask me.
So?
No. If you're asking me if I think the movie is appropriate or inappropriate, that's a different question. But if you're talking about that spectrum of provocativeness of showing sexuality and allowing young actors to play sexuality, which is the controversy, I think Blue Lagoon, to me, was more innocence.
And this is good. Our first really cat fight
for this season. This is a light cat fight, but absolutely. I think that Blue Lagoon there was such innocence in the two characters not understanding what sexuality was, so they were just being. They happened to be nude. Because that's how they were. And throughout the movie, they start to understand sexuality. She has her period. They end up having sex. They're underage, but it's not gratuitous, nor is it hypersexualized, because there's such innocence and discovery in Blue Lagoon. That's what's, for me, is so beautiful about that movie.
I'm going to disagree. I think in Cuties, there is that innocence. That's what the whole movie, in my opinion, is about, is the young, the lead character, her innocence, because she is, I'm going to try not to do what I normally do, is give away movie.
No. Actually, I was going to do a disclaimer. I don't think we can talk about this movie so if you ain't seen the movie, you might want to pause, because we can't talk about this movie without doing some
giveaways.
Yes, so go for it.
So the lead,
you've been warned.
So the lead, there's an innocence in the lead. She is a Nigerian who is now in England.
She's actually Senegal. I don't want people calling us. She's from Senegal.
I'm sorry.
The West Africa. I had to look it up. Okay. I didn't know where Senegal was.
Well, she's from Africa. Now she's living in England, and she is now the innocence of coming to a culture where social media is very much real, and she's trying to fit in. So when you were in middle school trying to fit in.
Oh gosh, yes.
And that's why I think there's that innocence. She has no idea the rabbit hole that she is going down by use of the phone and learning about her sexuality, learning the power, and there's innocence in that too.
Oh, 100%.
She learns through her innocence that she has power in her own sexuality. And I think that's probably what's challenging to most of the people that's talking about the sexual exploitation, because there is a scene that really, it kind of like, but then that innocence of her realizing her power, and not realizing that then her power then comes back on her to bite her.
Yes, I agree. But that whole arc of the character, innocence is such a critical element of the story.
Oh,
so
yes.
I agree with you that the innocence is there.
Yes.
There were moments in the movie that I was uncomfortable.
Tell me.
There were moments, and I'm not saying that I disapprove of the movie, nor do I think that it should be getting all of this negative press.
Yes.
And I want to talk about that in a second. Probably we're going to come up on a break, and maybe we can talk about that in the beginning of the next segment. But yeah, the moment that when she's auditioning for the group, and they're like, "Oh, you can't dance, you can't dance," and she does it, and they're not impressed, and then it's a pause, and it's where that movie finally goes to where they want to go, where she starts to show them hypersexualized moves that even they hadn't thought about.
Yes.
And she gets on the ground and she starts doing some of those very sort of stripper moves. And when that happened, I for a moment felt really uncomfortable. But that's the point of the movie.
I think,
that's the point. But so there is the point of the movie, is it art? And then there's also as a man having young nieces, watching a young actress, like, would I let my daughter do that movie? I think that's where America is right now.
It's should we allow our young people to watch this movie? So
not just watch it, but to film it, like to have these young 14-year-old girls conduct themselves in a way on screen. I understand how people would be uncomfortable with that.
I would too. But then the reality of this movie, and this is where I kind of go back to, well, they're actually the director, the writer of this movie. This is actually what young people are doing.
Oh, 100%.
So I think there's an awareness there that we need to take into context, that they're actually just presenting it for the whole world to see. Yeah. And that point of the arc that you're talking about, it goes back to the mean girl syndrome that young girls go through. The only reason she goes into that mode is because they are criticizing her. So her way of having power is to up one on them by showing them these moves that they had no idea to put into there. And then now she becomes the cool one. It is an amazing movie when it comes to telling the story about power and sexual power.
So you recommend this movie, and for people, you don't think that people should be protesting this movie?
Well, let's go to break first, and then we will come back to it.
All right.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Yes. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Upenda.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. But you know what, Upenda? We need sponsors for this show.
Absolutely. Especially during this time where you're hearing our voices right now. This could be you.
It could be them, but it's not.
But it could be them. You can sell your product, your business, or your service.
Or any dang thing else you'd like to sell. But first, you got to contact us. How can they get in touch with us, Upenda?
They can contact us at theupanddownshow@gmail.com.
Is that all one word, Upenda?
Oh, yes, it's one word. theupanddownshow@gmail.com. So if you have a product, a business, or service, or any damn thing else you want to share with our audience, please contact us at where?
theupanddownshow@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, guys.
So Daniel, this movie, Cuties, the lead character, which I have to tell you all, she is absolutely stunning.
She is beautiful. And you know, that's interesting. I was watching it just last night. And when you watched it, did you read the subtitles? Because it was in French?
No, I did not.
You turned it to English.
Yes.
So I always forget you can do that. So that's, first of all, a little tip to y'all. If you're watching Netflix, often you can turn the language to English so you don't have to read the subtitles. But you know, halfway through, I realized I'm listening to these silly American accents and I wanted to hear the French accents. And so I put it back to French for the last half of it. And you know, I loved it even more because she was and hearing her voice and her beauty and seeing like that African culture and mixed with the French culture. And yeah, she's a beautiful woman.
Yes, and
young girl.
Yeah, definitely young girl.
Yeah.
But the movie is really a reveal about our young girls.
Yeah, and that was my big takeaway was, again, I actually would recommend the movie. I don't think that it deserves the bad press it's getting, but you have to go into the movie knowing you're going to be challenged. And I think, to me, it's a cautionary tale to parents and adults about the reality of what's happening on when your kids aren't around.
When your kids are not around and you are not managing their social media, because that's a piece of this movie is this young beautiful girl who is now inundated with a culture that is all about social media now that she's in England or London. I forget which town or country she's in. Yeah. But anyway,
they're in Paris. Oui.
I haven't watched the movie in a month.
Damn, Netflix.
But anyway.
They're in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Which makes sense that she's from Senegal because most Senegalese go to Paris.
Is that right?
Yes.
All right. I didn't know
that. now I'm back on. But to know that she is now inundated with this new culture and she's trying to fit in. She is again preteen trying to fit in this new school, and she wants to fit in. She doesn't want to be standing on the wall. She really wants to fit in. And there is a scene in the movie when she finally discovers what power she has, and she goes from dressing like a nice innocent 11-year-old to dressing like someone just walked off a runway. Okay.
Yes. So you put in an effort to move away from the movie and to dig a little deeper into our lives.
Yes.
Do you think this hypersexualization of young ladies is something new to our culture and to just being human, being on this earth?
No, to answer your question, no, I don't think so. I think what's different is that it is more in our face because of social media.
Yes.
But I think it's always been that way in our culture. The glorification or the sexual exploitation, not glorification, the sexual exploitation of young girls. I mean, think about it. You know, modeling. most young girls start modeling 11, 12. Their faces are already put up with makeup and hair. And so,
well, I'm going to go even deeper. How about, I mean, okay,
I'm using that as an example.
I'm going to model it for me.
I'm going to use that example.
I was experimenting. Like, Lord,
Granny, close your ears.
I was experimenting with my own sexuality through photographs. I mean, it was way before internet, right? But with using a Polaroid camera. And there is a story that I won't tell. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe I'm saying this on camera.
You are.
But I cannot believe I'm sharing this. All I will tell you is that it was a Polaroid camera, a puppet monkey, and myself.
TMI. TMI.
And I was probably 11 years old. And I took some pictures and Mom found them. Sorry, Mom. But my point is that I think children are naturally, once they start to understand sexuality, it's unless you come to them and explain it to them, it's something that they're going to research and investigate themselves. And it's just so much easier now.
Oh, it's so much easier now, and it's easier to get really, really bad information. That's what's really happening. To your point, I think that when we were growing up, or even prior to that, definitely development. As young people develop, we're curious. That was curiosity that you were experiencing.
It was curiosity. But now the danger is that curiosity in this world goes from inside to the outside. And that scene where she, again, we're giving away some plot twist, but I think it's go watch the damn movie. We're going to talk about it. Is when she takes the picture of her private part, and then posts it on social media. Yes,
and her not understanding the repercussions to her reputation. She thinks it's power.
Yes. And even her friends end up sort of turning against her. So, but that made me think of another current film that everyone's talking about, a documentary called Social Dilemma.
Oh my goodness.
Which really starts to unpack the impact of our social media things like Facebook and Instagram and even Pinterest, and how they are getting into our psyche, and how we're making decisions based off of these machines and algorithms that psychologically, we don't even understand how social media has taken over our behaviors.
Yeah, and the one thing that I took away, I actually, like, you watched Cuties last night. I actually watched Social Dilemma.
Oh, you did watch it?
I did.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, I watched Social Dilemma.
That was actually a phony. I was testing that. I hate in talk shows when they know what they're going to talk about. Like, oh, really? So I tried that, but it felt false. We will never, ever do that. I knew she watched it, but we haven't talked about it.
No, we haven't talked about it. So last night, while you were watching Cuties, I actually watched
You did your homework.
I did my homework, and I watched Social Dilemma.
Okay.
But this is what I took away. I mean, you have to watch this. It's scary once you really see what they're talking about, and you're like, wow. But also what initially was the opportunity in social media, this new technology. It was really for us to use it as a tool.
Yeah, well, let's take a step back. And so it was meant to be a tool, but let's talk about Social Dilemma just briefly, sort of what the documentary is about.
So the documentary, and what I took away from the documentary was that it was, tech people who have left these major tech companies because they were challenged.
These are not like little flunkies. These were like the heads of departments and heads of products.
Yeah, directors, vice presidents that really were the driving force for what these social media platforms look like today. Like, one of the guys was like the lead on tagging and understanding the power of tagging. They knew that tagging was going to exponentially engage people more, that they couldn't turn their head away.
Yes. So it's all about not simply getting you on the screen for advertisers, but also for you to invite your friends on, right? And so if someone tags you, you're going to look at their picture.
They knew that.
And if someone's not on Facebook, you're going to say, hey, get on Facebook. I just tagged you. And so it's a way for them to create momentum in the enrollment and use of that whole system.
Yeah. And it goes back to my point. I think the idea from, when this whole technology happened with us communicating via these platforms, it was really to be used as a tool to engage and communicate and socialize.
Right.
Not knowing that through what they need to make money. Let's be clear, this is a money business.
It is a money business. We think it's free. That was the part that got to me. They're like, nothing is free. Nothing is always have to remember that, right?
Nothing is free. Nothing is free, but that's so true. Like at the end of the day, it's all about the money. And so we think that this was created for us to use as a tool, but in actuality, they created this to basically make us addicted to social media, to manipulate us and use our own psychology against us for money. Yes. I mean, it's really that simple. It's utilizing our own psychology. And let me give you an example of that. So I actually love beautiful dresses.
Okay.
And every now and then I may be looking at some beautiful dresses that I know I can't afford because I'm on a budget. But when I start looking at dresses for the next 48 hours, I'm inundated with these beautiful dresses.
Yes, doesn't that freak you out? I mean, honestly, again,
that's using my psychology against me.
Yeah, and so as someone who, and I have talked about it, and not extremely openly, but I have referenced my anxiety. Oh my God! Sometimes I will open up one of a social media app, and it is literally something that I just spoke about. I know I've never searched it before, and somehow, and so I've always thought they're listening to you, right? There's some sort of microphone, and I'm not playing, but I actually saw a woman speak to this this past week on the Today Show, and she was saying that it's not necessarily that it's talking to you, but it is second guessing your next move.
Well, that was the scary part about the people that were talking on Social Dilemma. Remember, these people helped create the technology, but they said the technology is thinking way ahead of them.
Yes.
They don't even know where the technology is going. Like, they created it, but then the technology is thinking way more than they could ever have thought about. And so there goes AI.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
I'm going there. You know, I love AI.
Oh, yes. Fiction. Okay. Talk about conspiracy theories and aliens and all this other. Go on, girl.
No, but when I say artificial intelligence, that goes to the point of if you have to watch Social Dilemma, number one.
Yeah.
But when you're listening to them talk, it's scary. It wasn't just one or two that said that they created this technology. It is actually thinking well above and more than they could ever think about.
Yeah,
more than one of the tech giant said that.
So I have a personal story in this, is that my grandmother is now on social media and using Facebook after like a decade of us telling her to get on, and she's finally realized she can actually keep track of us and see what family's doing because we don't call her enough. And she called me just this week, and she says, "Tamale pie." Yes, I'm her tamale pie. She says, "Tamale pie. How come I don't see you anymore? I'm not following you anymore." And I was like, "Grandma, yes, you are. You are. I'm just not at the top of your feed because you have more friends." And first of all, she said, "Well, you're not my friend. You're my grandson." I was like, "Grandma, but I'm your friend." "You are not my friend." I was like, "Grandma, you got to just accept this." But my whole point is the algorithms are starting to predict her next move. And so she's starting to get a lot of feed from Baha'is and different sort of, and Persian men. And so she's getting all these friend requests from Persian men. And she says if they were good Persian
Granny,
she said if they were good Persian men, they would not be friending a woman they don't know. And you're right, Grandma. They're robots from Russia. So stay away from Persian men just on social media. You can talk to them in person.
No, don't accept their friendship, Granny.
But those algorithms are now messing with my grandma. And my grandma, because she's new to social media, doesn't understand that. And so she's sort of thinking that these are just people trying to, it's like, it's bizarre. And also, she's now not getting her tamale pie post because the Baha'i posts are coming up higher me, because that's what she follows and that's what she's interested in.
Did she understand that when you shared that with her?
I don't know if I broke it down as specifically as that. So, Grandma, I just explained it to you. Now do you understand?
But that is in Social Dilemma, they talk about just how that works. Again, they're using your psychology against you, and the bottom line is money for them. Which we're going to give it away. You just have to watch Social Dilemma. One part of the documentary, I'm over it now. Yeah, I'm totally over it.
Just know when we talk about a show, we gonna tell you.
Yeah, most of the time I try not to because Daniel always warns me, but he's like, just let it go. Yeah. But in the dilemma, they show. I don't know if it was the Google network, but they show a network that is basically like 2.5 square miles of computers. So you don't remember that?
I don't remember
like
that.
They went below.
This was like a week or two ago.
Yeah, they went below, and it was like 2.5 square miles, nothing but computers and wires. And these supercomputers, these huge supercomputers.
Was that real or was it just?
No, it was real. They went down there. It was real. And
okay.
I said, I was watching this last night with someone else, and I was like, how do they know where the wires go?
That would suck to be the wire guy, right? Here, I got the pink one. Where's the blue one go?
I swear to God, I said, and you saw it. I was like,
that's hysterical.
Dude, how do you know?
Are you sure that wasn't just like a dramatization?
No, that wasn't the dramatization.
Oh my God. Do you still have, this is a totally off subject, but I just saw a meme recently that said, I am still holding on to my cable wires because someday someone's going to ask me to plug in my Nokia and my Ethernet cable. Like I have a whole basket of wires and cables and things that I will never ever use. The technology is outdated.
I don't know, but
so how do they know where the wire goes?
No, seriously, how do they know? And I say this because in the social dilemma, there is a dramatization that's happening, as well as you're listening from the tech guys who are sharing their experiences. But one of the guys takes you down, and that's the first thing. There were so many computers and so many wires. I was like, how do they know?
Goodness. So this is kind of terrifying. We're coming up on a break, and this is probably good because I need to go chill. I need to go take a Xanax.
We'll be right back.
Bye, guys.
Hi, this is Upenda from the Up and Down Show. If you're listening to my voice, guess what? This could be you. Well, not you, but your business, your product, your service. We would love to share with our audience all that you have to offer. So here's your opportunity to sponsor the Up and Down Show. Please contact us at the Up and Down Show, all one word, @gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Daniel, I'm really not happy with you nor Greg right now. Y'all are laughing at me. I mean, seriously, don't laugh at me when I talk about.
I'm just okay, but you. You might be right.
I'm just saying, in Social Dilemma, they go downstairs. Okay. And there is nothing but these supercomputers with all these wires.
So we're going to go back. We're going to watch it. And we're going to make, I will bet, you want to bet money? $5 that is dramatization? We're going to bet something. Damn it, we're going to bet something. Because we're going to go, after we're done recording this, go up and we're going to watch that scene. And you think it's a real footage of wires. Wires taking over. Taking over the social media.
Tristan Harris is the guy who brings us downstairs.
She acts like she just came up with that. We just looked it up during the break.
But that was
Tristan Harris. Oh yeah, Tristan, my buddy Tristan.
Yes. But that is the guy I was talking
Tristan
about.
Harris.
He was the guy that took us downstairs to show us all these computers.
So, but what's cool about Tristan, your buddy Tristan, is
he's cute.
He's like in a nerdy, beautiful, sexy way.
Can I say something before you say that?
Go.
So when I watched Social Dilemma last night, the one thing that kind of challenged my spirit.
Oh Lord, what challenged your spirit, girl?
I mean, the entire thing about how social media works and these platforms, but even more from the perspective of being a minority, everyone that was talking, that brought their stories to this documentary, they were not African Americans. There was minority with regards to Asian and Indian and Indians. But I really sat there, even in the audience when he was doing, I guess, a TED Talk. I really was like, where are the minorities coming up in tech in tech land.
Yeah, that is it is a very
I threw that ball to you.
You did throw that ball to me. There is a woman in Overtown, Felicia Hatcher, who actually is working on this. Her whole mission with Code Fever is the name of her organization, is to introduce the tech world to the African American community, specifically African American women, young girls, to get them into the tech world. Because let's be clear, it's not targeted to that population, so there hasn't been a lot of momentum, but I think that's changing. But there's still racist and sexist culture within the tech world, and they know it. The women are treated abysmally.
Yeah,
horribly.
absolutely. But one of the conversations that happened in the documentary, which again, it just blew my mind, was like, how is it that there's 30 white males in a room creating technology for people who don't look like them and directing traffic about how they live? That is not okay.
Yeah.
That is not okay.
That is not. See, we can literally talk about anything and bring it back to social justice. That is our superpower.
Yes, it's like, I was like, duh, they are sitting in a room that don't look like me, and they're probably saying, she's going to like that blue dress right there. Watch. Yes.
Oh my God. Why did I turned on? Okay, I'm sharing lots of personal information today. You need to share more stuff.
No.
We're digging this season. But
digging.
I've lost hearing in my left ear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I keep waiting for it to come back. I swear to God, it's not organic. It's something. I just think my tube is.
I'm laughing.
My tube is swollen. It's gonna come back, but you Penda, why do I turn on Instagram? Why do I have these hearing aid ads? My Instagram is full of hearing aid ads. It's been like, you ain't getting that hearing back, mama. You better get that hearing aid, boy. It ain't coming back. I started, and also, why is my Instagram full of snoring? Like, I'm paranoid now that I actually have a snoring problem because
You
every
do. I meant to tell you that.
do I? I'm like, literally, I am terrified that I have a sudden snoring.
You know why you snore? Because you have hearing in one ear.
I'm kidding. All of my ads are hearing aids and snoring apps and sleep apnea. I don't know.
Well, that's what happens when you are tapped into social media and they listen to you to know what's wrong with you, to send you, all these things that
that's
you
all
need.
right. My Xanax is kicking in.
But anyway, going back to Social Dilemma, to wrap Social Dilemma up. So Tristan Harris is primarily the lead in this documentary because he's brought up quite often. There's other people brought up as well.
Yes, he is. Let me talk about my other. I need glasses now. I am literally, age 47 is when I'm breaking. All of this has happened this year. Oh my God. Yes. So Tristan Harris, he has his own podcast now that is called Your Undivided Attention. And he worked for Google for 3 years, and he was the Google Design Ethics leader. And he saw that the industry just didn't care about ethics, even though he was bringing it to his attention. He wrote this beautiful email to all of the Google
staff. I remember that.
And they all went, oh my God, he's on to something. This is not right. We need to have some protocols around this, and everybody was excited about it
until it got to the top.
Yeah, and then they just stopped talking about it.
Yeah,
and it was just squashed.
Yes,
and so he actually left the industry and created his own sort of business and role to monitor the ethics of social media. So thank you, Tristan. So my big question to you, Upenda.
Yes.
Are you getting off social media?
I will share this. So I have not been on Facebook like I used to. I think anybody who follows me will agree that I'm rarely on Facebook. And when I am, I probably on Facebook really to post our show right now or post something about the work I'm doing in Lincoln Park. I am on Instagram more often than Facebook. No, I'm gonna, So I think now that what I know, probably will start backing off. Now I have become addicted. I hate to say this. I'm addicted to Twitter.
You are addicted to Twitter. You're like one of those silent posts. You don't post anything. You just seek. You just in there 'cause every once in a while, like, you pinned to like this. Because I don't use Twitter. I don't understand Twitter. But I'm happy that you are recognizing that.
I do.
You know what you just reminded me of? You know, in addiction, have you ever heard of like the hierarchies of addiction? So that people who are alcoholics look down on people who are addicted to coke, to marijuana.
Yes.
The marijuana smokers look down on cokes. The coke heads look down on crackheads, and crackheads look down on meth heads, right? And so you just did that with social media. You're like, well, I do Instagram, but I don't do Facebook. Like I said, Facebook is like the high. I think they're all using the same technology.
No, they are.
They all are polluting our minds, and we would be smart to just let it go. And then to tie it back to cuties that we talked about earlier as well. You know, one of the really other moments that kind of touched my heart was when she started to get her likes. That first like she did when she created, and that look, the young actress, she just captured it so well. Oh my God, I mean something now.
Yes.
I mean something.
Yes. But even in Social Dilemma, the dramatization that I remember happening with the young girl when she, breaks down the controls. Her mom locked everybody's phone in this control container, and she busts it wide open.
Just like a crackhead would. Just like a crackhead.
And I was like, my mama would have beat my ass if I did that to her Tupperware. I mean, seriously. She runs upstairs, and then she gets on her phone, and she posts something, and all these likes are coming in, and she is smiling into this one thing that comes in calls her elephant ears, and her entire confidence goes to
so again, bringing this to us, right? I realized that IMDb, the internet database for movies, I can't watch a movie now without opening the app and reading the app while I watch a movie. I'm addicted to that app. I really am. And it's really sad because I love movies, and I catch myself sometimes going on social media in the middle of a movie, and it's like, what is that about? I used to get angry if somebody if I could hear them breathe while I watched the movie.
I watched a movie with you, yes.
And it's like church for me, movie making. But I'm realizing I'm starting to disrespect my own church. What thought did you have?
This is going back to your hearing.
Oh, geez. Yes, go.
So, since he came here so well, he had subtitles, and now I have subtitles on my TV.
You do have subtitles, and it's always embarrassing because I like to take pictures for social media and show what I'm watching. And every time I do it, I always forget that it has the damn it has the subtitles.
Remember, I called you one day. I said, "God damn it, Daniel! I've got subtitles on my TV because of you."
Oh Lord! Now, who of you out there actually use subtitles? I love them.
I love them now. They actually work. I do. I have it on my TV now because of you. So thank you, but I can hear. But seriously, this is, we brought these topics to you today because we really want you to think about how you are engaging in your social media world.
Yes. And not just your children. You monitor your children. We need to trust our children. But I think it's about educating. It's not about policing.
Yes.
It's about educating.
Yes.
Talking about sex. I told my mom recently, how can I tell this without sort of infringing? But I have a niece who is starting to recognize her own sexuality. Yes. And I just told mom, I was like, you got to just talk about it. You got it, because no one talked to me about it. And I think this is the second time I'm referencing Red Truck without talking about Red Truck. But I have a Red Truck story, right? Because no one talked to me about my curiosity around sexuality.
Yeah. So just pay attention, talk to your kids. And I would even say if you have kids that are younger than 15, you really should be really controlling the amount of time that they're using their phones and social media.
Well,
I'm sorry.
We're not parents though. So I think that would be an interesting show. I would love to have a conversation about that.
Yeah. I just kind of...
It's an interesting dilemma.
That's what it's called. Social dilemma. Social dilemma.
We probably should move into it. But is there anything else you want to say?
No, just thank you for listening.
That feels better, right?
Oh, it's a release. It's a release. So, can I do my up first?
Please, because I forget what my up is. I have to remember what my up is. Yes.
So my up today comes from my hairdresser, my really good hair braider. Her name is Zania. And you can find her at Zania's Queen on Instagram, but she does amazing braids. And she just started a new line, and it is a lip glaze product. Okay, look. Yes. And
for those who are listening to the podcast, we have bright colors, pinks and purples and oranges. Lip gloss. It reminds me of my sister used to have little lip gloss like this.
Yes. She actually started this new line. It is all natural. She's very organic and natural. And so I actually bought her product a couple of weeks ago, and I will tell you this. I love it. It's not sticky. It's not tacky. It shines.
Are you wearing it today?
I am wearing it on top of my MAC lipstick, but the lip glaze is amazing. You can find her to order your lip glaze at www.colorfuldiamonds20.com. And we're going to put that on the screen as well. But I love this product. So
very nice.
So Zania,
if it weren't COVID, I would put it on Zania, but COVID's going on, so I can't practice. But just imagine this on my...
Exactly. But I love your product. And I'm telling you, if you are watching, please go to her website. It's a natural product. And I love it.
Awesome. And just to clarify, these are not paid segments. Our ups are genuine things that we have encountered that we think that you might enjoy. So
yes.
We will never accept, we will never... We'll never accept money. Are you accepting money? No. So these are not paid advertisements. So my up, actually, I have two quick ones. Okay. One is I was coming in today and traffic was a beast. And so in order to provide a gift to you all, because I got in a little later than I did, I actually stopped by Starbucks.
Yay!
And for the first time, I actually ordered through their app. And I had curbside pickup, and I have to tell you, that stuff worked. I got here pretty quickly from when I said I was going to do it. Right? I ordered. By the time I got there, I think I was waiting outside for 2 minutes. So check out the Starbucks app. It's totally worth it. I was able to pay for it through the app, order while I was still on 95, get off the freeway, pull into the thing, and bam, it was done. Social distancing, had my mask on. He had his mask on. So that was awesome.
Awesome.
And then my other one is, one of the things that I miss so much, Upenda, during this time is the theater. I miss the theater, and I am an actor. I'm a trained actor. I worked as a professional actor on stage, and my favorite thing to do is to go to live theater, musicals, plays. And I'm tired of my TV. I'm tired of Netflix. Right? We talk about Netflix because there's nothing else to do or see. Right? But I forgot that I had purchased a few months ago for like $9 a month Broadway HD.
Okay.
It's an app. Okay. It's an app, and you can then link it to your TV, and you can actually watch Broadway productions on your TV screen.
Wow.
It's amazing, and they're wonderful.
Can you share your login with me so I can?
Sure, I will, because I keep forgetting I have it. So I'm paying $9.
Share your login with me.
But also the cool thing is you can sign up for a month, watch the shows you want for $9, and then cancel. So you don't have to pay a year in advance. So it's only $9 a month. So I think it's cheap, and you have the ability to watch. And I watched Miss Saigon recently, and I watched a great Memphis, which is the musical I'd never seen before. I have a whole list of shows I want to watch. So Broadway HD, it's an app, and you can also get it on your internet, on your television, and you can watch Broadway shows from the comfort of your couch. That's my up today.
Well, thank you for your up, and thank you all for watching.
We love you guys. See you later. Bye.